Now is Eric Trump, Executive Vice President at the Trump Organization. Eric, good to see you.
It's great being here.
And throughout the debate, your father, Donald Trump, tweeting away, which actually was getting retweets and creating another whole conversation.
I think he got more attention than the actual debate did. I was having a tough time getting through it personally. But
what did you think of the debate?
Listen, I thought it was a little bit slow. It certainly didn't have the fire of the Republican debate. It certainly didn't have the action, nor do I think they, quite frankly, came at any of the candidates the same way as they came after the GOP candidates. But I thought it was a little bit slow. I personally had a tough time. I was channel surfing a little bit to kind of see commentary on it.
Right.
Well, as I told you, I watched the Met game, which had disappointing. But the moderator there should have been saying, and I'm getting emails and tweets right now, the moderator should have said to Hillary, there's been a Democrat in the White House for the last 8 years.
Right.
7 years. That just doesn't come up. Eric, what I have to ask you is that even those that are your father's biggest supporters worry that when you get to February and you get to March, and if he's still in the lead, is he going to have the wherewithal? Is he going to want to get on a plane every single day?
Yeah,
go to Ohio, go to Florida,
he drop out?
And really have to do the groundwork that's going to be necessary at that point.
Listen, I know the man better than anybody in the world, right? He does not lose. And quite frankly, he's a guy who has more energy than anybody I've ever met before. I call him the Energizer Bunny. I mean, he does not stop. And I mean, I've literally never seen the man take a vacation, right? He's not the guy who goes out to Aspen and goes skiing for a week, right? Like so many of his billionaire friends. This is just not the man he is. He's a workaholic.
And by the way,
he has his own 757.
Yes,
so
but
his travel's a lot easier than
that's
for
true.
other
But I mean, the actual time he's mentally gone through it, and you could tell everybody here, the viewers, that he's gone through it and he knows what it's going to take for the next.
Listen, why would he hop into the race, right? I mean, I think that's what you have to ask himself. He's one of the people. He's probably the only person on that stage who doesn't need to get into this race, right? We have an amazing business. We're building hotels all over the world. We're doing phenomenally well. He doesn't need to be there. Believe me, he knows the rat race. He understands the media. He understands the pressure of doing this every day. But it's also what makes Donald Trump thrive. I mean, he's just an incredible guy. It makes him thrive, and he wants to win this. And
Is he afraid of going up against Hillary Clinton in the general election?
No, I think he'd actually love to.
I was going to answer that. He wants that. I mean, he wants that more than anything.
What? I mean, she obviously did well last night.
Yeah, listen, at the same time, I think there's a horrendous track record right there that I think he would pick apart. And he's got an amazing groundswell of support behind him right now because he's able to be direct. He's able to be brash. He doesn't have to pander. He doesn't have, he's not going out and seeking campaign contributions.
Which is what everybody loves.
And that's almost the antithesis of, quite frankly, everybody on the stage last night.
Speaking of his brashness, has he toned down his rhetoric a little bit, you think? Have you at any point had a talk with him and said, Dad, like, you can say what you need to say and say it a little bit more and be more kind.
Honestly, I think that's what makes him special, and I think that's what makes people kind of drawn to him in a certain way. I think people are tired of the nonsense. They're tired of the PC. They're tired of the same kind of one-liners that you heard last night for 3 hours, over and over and over. And then people get into the White House and nothing gets done. And, we have $19 trillion worth of debt, and we have these major, trade deficits, and we've got ISIS cutting off heads. That will not happen under him, I can guarantee you. I mean, he just, sitting across the table from him every single day, he's an amazing business guy. He's a practical guy. He cuts through nonsense and red tape. That's what you need.
Is he better on the campaign trail? Because it seems like he really got, for somebody who didn't like to shake hands some years ago, and I experienced that myself. I had to apologize to him for wanting to shake his hand. This was years and years ago. He seems to have really gotten his mojo working a line and meeting people.
Well, this isn't his world, right? He hopped into politics 3 months ago when he's winning in every single poll around the country, right? It's truly a special story. I mean, this is a guy who's built an empire of amazing hotels and golf courses and real estate buildings and everything else. I mean, everything the man ever touched, The Apprentice, right? It all turned to gold. He hops into politics and he's leading every single poll. So, does it sometimes maybe take a little while for you to get complete sea legs? Sure, but I mean, you're entering a totally new realm. But that's what makes him refreshing.
How do you feel about him hosting Saturday Night Live in a couple of weeks?
Well, he's done it a couple times before.
Yeah.
He's, one of the things that a lot of people don't know about him, he is an incredibly funny guy. I mean, the two of us will sit back and forth, and we'll go back and forth, and he is just a funny guy. Ask any of his friends, but is
that a hypocrite thing on NBC's part? I mean, they had a fight with him, over The Apprentice, and they didn't run the pageant, and now they know he gets ratings, and they know he's got all these followers. So they
some of his SNLs were some of the best rated SNLs of all time, and and listen, he's having fun with it, and It's almost to be expected, given kind of where he is in the race, and given what he's done on the GOP side. As a son, and maybe this sounds cliche, but I'm proud of him. I'm really, really proud.
Are you going to campaign for him, though? Are you going to really hit the trail?
Yeah, listen, I'll be out there, and we have also a business to run, right? I mean, we unlike right, but we have a business to run. We're opening up 7 hotels effectively in the next 18 months all over the world. We're doing great things, and so believe me, I still have.
You
to
started to say it, but then
you
you stopped yourself. You were about to say, unlike the other candidates, we actually run a business. That's what you were trying to say.
And by the way, and he still does, right? I mean, that's the amazing thing, right? I mean, you talk about energy levels. Not only is he just running for president, not only is he winning, but we're also running a business at the same time, right? I mean, it's really an incredible thing, and he's doing amazingly well.
Are real estate prices, by the way, getting away from you at this point? I mean, prices are going up. Is this a bubble?
Oh, listen, you look at what's happening here in New York, right? You look at some of the new buildings that are coming online, $10,000, $11,000 a square foot. Then you look at some of the incredible pre-war buildings in the best spots on Park Avenue and Central Park South, right? They're selling for $2,500 a foot. I don't know, something there doesn't match up, right? I mean, the kind of new construction versus the gorgeous, amazing kind of pre-war, some of the great iconic locations.
Right.
Something's wrong. I mean, the delta's just getting too great between those two prices, and I think at some point that shakes out.
Thank you for the insight on that. That's important. Eric, good to see you.
Yeah, it's great being here.
Thank you so much. Eric Trump joining us. Up next.